maybe the most interesting of all the NFL divisions right now is the AFC North. Because if you've got an injured Lamar Jackson and a rapidly fading Ravens, I think it's fair to say the Browns have, best case scenario, been really inconsistent and difficult to predict. Same thing is true of the Bengals and of the Steelers. All four teams theoretically alive to potentially win this division with a ton of different uncertainty here. Who would you put your money on to win the AFC North?
Oh my God. I think at this point, I'd honestly probably try and back the Browns because I think when you look at their upcoming schedule, they'll get a win this weekend against the Raiders, barring some unforeseen circumstances. The Steelers, very much a coin flip with your Titans. The Bengals, they'll have their hands full traveling out to take on Denver. And I think the Ravens will struggle with Green Bay. So if you were to bet Cleveland now in that plus 180, plus $2 range, I think you'll have a little bit of equity that you can work with as far as your ticket is concerned. But their final three games don't do them any favors either. And it's crazy to think that the Browns, if you shopped around before this past weekend's worth of results, you could have found them at 7-1 to win the AFC North. Those numbers have been more than halved. At this point, which Baker Mayfield will we get? Can they get Ronnie Harrison and Greg Newsome out there? I mean, so many questions for Cleveland, but this is really going to be a war of attrition. I just can't buy the Bengals of any of those teams because I don't have a ton of confidence in Zach Taylor, despite making the case that of the four remaining quarterbacks, if Lamar misses time, and even if Lamar is out there, that I think Joe Burrow is the guy you'd want to bank on of that particular quartet.
What's going on with the Bengals? With the Bills. Let me just put this out there. Last year at roughly this time, everybody thought that the Bucs were done. They won their final, I think it was 4 games of the season, won 3 straight, get to the Super Bowl, won their final 8. Tom Brady is coronated. They are now the favorites to win for a second straight year. Right now, if you look at the Bills, they're 7-6, right on the edge of even making the playoffs. But if you look at their final 4, they're all potentially winnable. They still have the ability to kind of get hot. Josh Allen, really high-level capability there. The defense has been questionable. Do you think the Bills still have it in there? And the reason why I bring them up right now, by the way, they are still the 3rd overall favorite to win the AFC. Right now, Kansas City Chiefs, the favorite. New England Patriots, 2nd favorite. Bills, 3rd. And then you roll right into the Titans, followed by the Chargers and the Ravens. Look, I mean, the Bills still have a lot of backing just based on the raw talent. 3rd favorite to win the AFC, but we're not even sure necessarily they make the playoffs. How would you assess this?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at Buffalo, they showed me an awful lot. It would have been easier to curl up and die when you face a 24-3 deficit on the road against the Bucs. But for them to continue fighting, they got a play here, a play there, able to force overtime before Brashad Perriman scores the long touchdown on a busted coverage in overtime. Their remaining schedule is extremely manageable. 3 out of the next 4 played at home. They're going to be overwhelming favorites this weekend against the Carolina team that's really searching for an identity. Clearly, the big game will be the return trip to Foxborough that no doubt Josh Allen and company want to atone for what didn't happen on Monday Night Football. And then you finish with home games against the Falcons and the Jets. So I think Buffalo realistically could go 4-0. You'd be talking about this team at 11-6 with a little bit of help. Maybe it's worth betting Buffalo to win the division at this point, more so than betting them to win the AFC. And the reason I say that is because Buffalo, if they're unable to win the division, a money line rollover would probably pay you a little bit more, the route they would have to go through to win the AFC. But from a power number perspective, as yesterday told us in Tampa, where that number hovered anywhere from 3 to 3.5, upwards of 4, the Bills would not be more than a field goal underdog at most against any team remaining in the AFC playoff picture. So if they can solidify their defense, which has been an issue, and I think the absence of Tre'Davious White probably neutralizes some of their ceiling, but offensively, Josh Allen, let's see how healthy he is this weekend. He showed up to the post-game presser in a boot. I imagine he's going to miss some practice time this weekend, but I still think the Bills will have something to say about how the AFC plays out, and I wouldn't rule out taking a little bit of a long shot flyer on them to win the AFC East, just because I think they'll have a great chance to knock off the Patriots in 2 weeks, and I really believe the Patriots go on the road Lucas Oil Stadium Saturday night and lose.